everybody, my name is Sera Jo. This week, I'm co-hosting music lessons with Carlos. See you!
Welcome everybody to another live session in music lesson webinar with Carlos. Today we will cover different topics such as ear training, music theory, keyboard skills, chord progressions, and contemporary voicings. We also have some new piano tutorials, so stay tuned and let's get started. Thank you, Sera Jo, for that introduction. Voice leading on autumn leaves, yeah, and that's actually a great workout, yeah. And actually, I would like to play it again, and the reason is because Sera Jo was a student of Russell Ferrante at the Musicians Institute in Hollywood, and Russell had a very interesting emphasis, yeah, on voice leading. And then Sera Jo decided to take the same techniques and take it on her own, and she's applying it to all different type of jazz standards. And it's a great way of working with those chord progressions. Yeah, usually the way, that's something I don't practice too much. Usually the way I practice is my, voice, tension substitution voicings, four-way close, open voicings, and then I have other routines. But this is a routine that actually is very useful, yeah, and I would like to share it again. So here we go. Okay, great. Yeah, and we're gonna continue our work. And one thing that I would like to do actually is I would like to start with our chromatic scales. Yeah, chromatic scales. And we were doing chromatic scales in all different keys. And Today, we're gonna work with the key of B, yeah, and you see already we have several double sharps, yeah, nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, we can just see the chromatic scale in a graphic way, yeah, and that would be more than enough. So one hand is always playing the root of the chord and sound capability, like a bass line or even a triad when we do bass clef, so we're always establishing I'm in this key, I'm in this key. And the other hand is going to be playing up and down, but we're going to be singing at the same time. So here we go. Do, di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol, si, la, li, ti, do. Descending. Do, ti, te, la, le, sol, se, fa, mi, me, re, ra, do. Okay, and now we are exploring two ways of seeing every chromatic scale. One is open keys, which is, there are no key signatures. It's almost like we're in the key of C, but everything is individual accidentals. And that's one way that many contemporary composers are choosing to write their music. And the other one, of course, is the traditional key signatures that we know. So we're going to practice in both ways. So now with the traditional key signatures, but we're going to take it to another level. We're gonna sing, but we're gonna only touch the keys, yeah? So we're still gonna create a kinesthetic connection, yeah? But we're not gonna be playing, so our musical memory has to be quite established, yeah? Why don't we start? Do, di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol, si, la, li, ti, do. Okay, we did it okay. Now we're gonna go descending. Yeah? So just play along with me. Do, ti, te, la, le, sol, se, fa, mi, me, re, ra, do. So that was our chromatic scales, yeah, in treble clef. Now we're gonna work with open key signatures, yeah? So we're going back to individual accidentals. Open key signatures, but now in bass clef. So we're gonna play a triad, major triad with our right hand, and we're gonna play a bass line, yeah? Chromatically, we're gonna go up and down. So here we go. Do, di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol, si, la, li, ti, do. Descending. Do, ti, te, la, le, sol, se, fa, mi, me, re, ra, do. As you can see, I'm playing the triad with my right hand, so I'm always establishing the key, and everything I play is always in relationship to that key, to the key of B. Now we're going to do the same exercise again, but now using traditional key signatures, yeah? Oops. But we're going to go to bass clef, bass clef. And here we go. Oh, by the way, now we're going to continue playing the triad to establish the key, but we are going only to be touching the keys, but not playing them, yeah? So we're going to have to sing. So that's going to emphasize if our musical memory, yeah, if we really can hear those notes really well. So here we go. Do, di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol, si, la, li, ti, do. Descending. Do, ti, te, la, le, sol, se, fa, mi, me, re, ra, do. Okay, and that was our warm-up, our chromatic scale warm-up of the day. And we're gonna continue, yeah? So something else I wanna do, since we're already on working with scales. Yeah, working with scales. What are we gonna do? I would like to go through something called chord pairing. So we're going to explore the major modes, in this case in the key of D. So everything is a modal interchange in the key of D. And then we're going to see which chords will fit that scale in that key center. So why don't we start? Maybe even I can zoom in a bit more. Let me see. Maybe I can zoom my... Yes, I can zoom. That's going to be actually more beneficial. Okay, good. So here we're in the key of D, and this is a major scale, so that's not too difficult. We're going to build it and we're going to sing using solfege, movable do solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And together, lower 4 notes, upper 4 notes. That is our cluster, very important. So we can visualize those scales, any scale, any mode, any altered mode in any key center. Now, we're going to see which chords can be paired to this D major 7 scale. A D major 7 chord. How about a D major 6? We also could use a D major 7/9. We could use a D major 6/9. And last one, we can use a D major 7 with 9 and 13th. And all paired with this scale. Now let's move on. Let's move on, and we're gonna go now to D Dorian mode. So let's build the Dorian mode. Do, and we have two color notes: Mi, flat 3, Ti, flat 7. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and together. And that's our D Dorian mode. Now let's talk about chords that can go with our D Dorian mode. One is D minor 7. D minor 7 with 9. D minor 7, 11, 9. And even in some cases, D minor 7, 13, 11, 9. With our D Dorian mode. And let's move on to D Phrygian. We're going to build a Phrygian mode on D. So we have color notes here. We have Ra, we have Le, and we have Te. Those 3 notes. And here we go. Do, Ra, Mi, Fa, Sol, Le, Te, Do. Lower 4 notes, upper 4 notes. And we have a cluster, a chord made out of consecutive seconds on D, the Phrygian mode. Okay, and what are the chords that we can pair with the Phrygian mode on D? Okay, we actually can go in different ways. We can go in the way of a more like a subdominant sound, with a minor chord. We can actually emphasize almost a dominant sound with a sus4. And it's very interesting how we can morph the meaning of different scales. So, first chord, a minor 7. We also could use a minor 7/11. But now I can pair my Phrygian mode with a dominant sus4 chord. I can use a sus4 with flat 9. sus4 with sharp 9. Very interesting. We can do many things with this mode. And here we go. We're going to go to D Lydian mode, and we're going to have a lot of choices for chord pairing. So our color note is the sharp 4, Fi. And why don't we start? Do, re, mi, fi, sol, la, ti, do. Lower 4 notes, upper 4 notes. And that's our D Lydian mode. Chord pairing. We can use a D major 7 D major 6, D major 7/9, D major 6/9. I could have a D major 7 sharp 11/9. I also could have a D 6/9 with sharp 11. And I could have a D major 7, 13, sharp 11, 9. Yeah, and those are our chord pairings on D. Moving on, we're gonna go to D mixolydian, so color note, flat 7, T. We're gonna build a scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. Lower 4 notes, upper 4 notes. And that's our D mixolydian mode. Chord pairing, we can have a D7. We can have a D7 with 9. We could have a D7 13 9. Now, let's go to the chord pairing with the Sus7 group. Same scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. And now, a D7 Sus4. I could have a D7 Sus with 9. And I could have the 7, D7 Sus 13 9. Very interesting sound. Okay, and moving on, let's go to Aeolian mode, or natural minor. And our color note for Aeolian mode would be a flat 6. Why don't we build it? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. Lower 4 notes, upper 4 notes, and that's our D Aeolian or natural minor mode. This is actually a very good technique. You have to be able to play all the notes simultaneously in one octave. So we can visualize it. Otherwise, it would be impossible to see those scales. Okay, chord pairing. We can have a minor 7 chord, minor 7 9, minor 7 9 11. Okay, and some players actually they like to explore with a non-tertial or different type of voicings with the Aeolian mode. One is whatever key that we're in, we can choose to play a major 7 voicing on the flat 6. That's a very interesting chord. And then we can choose to play very interesting way of creating a Aeolian type of voicing. Now we have one more chord scale to go, and that's a Locrian mode. 7th degree, so Locrian mode on D, which would be related to E flat. Color note, we have a flat 2 and we have a flat 5. Those are the two main color notes in Locrian. We're gonna sing and build a scale. Do, ra, mi, fa, si, li, ti, do. Lower 4 notes, upper 4 notes, and that's our D Locrian cluster. D Locrian cluster, first chord pairing, a D minor 7 flat 5. We can have a D minor 7 flat 5 with an 11th. And a D minor 7 flat 5, 11, flat 13. That's a very interesting voicing. Okay, and some players actually, in order to play a Locrian voicing, they like to play a major 7 voicing or chord on the flat 5 of that chord scale. So bass player will be playing a D, and then a keyboard player or guitar player will be playing in major 7 chord on the flat 5. In this case would be a flat major. Yeah, and that's a very interesting chord. Yeah, very, very, very interesting chord. Yeah, so we can use that voicing to emphasize a Locrian type of feeling. Okay, good. Yeah, good. We did a nice workout on scales. So now we're gonna move on. Let's move on. And I wanna talk about chords, since we are working on scales, in chord scales. And I wanted to continue, but there's something else I wanted to do. Okay, and okay, last week we worked with a major triad, and we were expanding a major triad in different ways, yeah, to be able to create different voicings, yeah. So that was last week workout, yeah. And I remember we started very simple, yeah. We started with a major triad and we went all the way to a major 7, 13, sharp 11, 9. And we did several examples, and now we're going to continue with another group. We're going to continue with a group of a major triad in a flat 5. So what can I do with that major triad in a flat 5? I can expand it. I can add a flat 7. And I end up with a dominant 7, flat 5. Now I can add a flat 9. Now, pretty much now I'm emphasizing an altered scale with that voicing. Yeah. And I even can add the flat 13. So I have my major triad flat 5, flat 7, flat 9, and flat 13. So this will be a great chord to explore, all 4, and to explore how to build them up. Yeah, that's actually in a great workout to do in all different keys. So now we're gonna choose another route. We're gonna continue with our major flat 5 triad. We are going to add a flat 7. We're gonna add a sharp 9. And to the sharp 9, we're gonna add the flat 13. So we have root 3, flat 5, flat 7, sharp 9, and flat 13. And that's how we can, another way that we can expand, yeah, our flat 5 triad. There are always scales in the background. Nevertheless, now we're not emphasizing the scales. Yeah, we're just almost using a tertial extensions, yeah, to expand our chords. Okay, so I want to do a couple more. Okay, so I want to work with an augmented triad. Yeah, so maybe today we're going to do a major flat 5 triads and augmented triads and see how we can expand them, yeah, using tertial stacks. Okay, so augmented triad, and I can add the flat 7, and I end up with this augmented 7 chord. To that augmented 7 chord, I can add the flat 9, and I end up with this very nice chord. And then to that chord, I'm going to add the sharp 11. Sharp 11. So all those are altered chords. Yeah, so in this case, I have my root 3, sharp 5, flat 7, flat 9, and sharp 11. And I want to explore one more build. Yeah, also with the sharp 9, but the augmented triad, but now we're going to add a sharp 9. So let's explore. We have a augmented triad. We're going to add the flat 7. Now we're going to add a sharp 9. It's a very interesting chord. Probably you have heard it many times. And now we're going to add the sharp 11 on top. Very cool voicing, if you ask me. Yeah, so we have a root 3, sharp 5, flat 7, sharp 9, and a sharp 11 on top. Okay, and those have been our chord extensions of the day. Yeah, chord extensions of the day. Good. So now I want to do something else, something that is more feeling based. I want to do some Latin piano. Okay. Yeah, otherwise it's too much theory, it's too heavy. So why don't we work with a merengue piano pattern? Okay, now we are gonna work with a merengue piano pattern. And for my book, Merengue Piano Styles. In this book is this pattern from page, I think it's example 3, page 59. It's gonna be in pambiche style, pambiche, syncopated. Yeah, and we have several sub-styles on pambiche, like a ritmo caballo, you know, all those different names, yeah? So, but why don't we practice, and also let's pay attention to how the drums, you know, how the percussion changes and the bass changes in the middle of the pattern. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so we have this pattern, and I want to explore the pattern together. Yeah, so we're in the key of C. So we have a 1, we have a 5, we have a 6, and then we have a 4. And then based on those patterns and those chords, we're going to create our pattern. And that's our pattern, and it's played, the percussion is playing a pambiche style. So why don't we practice together again, and now at a slower speed of 180 beats per minute. Okay, so let's practice together. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so now we're gonna practice, but without the piano, yeah, percussion and bass only. So why don't we start? 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and now we're gonna take it to 248 beats per minute. Let's see if we can play at that speed. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this merengue tutorial, and I want to switch now Latin styles. I want to do some salsa piano. Okay, salsa piano. Let me get my... Okay, that's better. Last week we were working with this minor blues progression, and we played a montuno on the 5th in 3/2 clave. And now what I wanted to try in my classes, since we've been doing a lot of different salsa patterns in 2/3, 3/2 in different keys, now without actually having the pattern written out, we're gonna build it. We're gonna build it ourselves during class. That's something I would love to do. So we can have this chord progression. Why don't we play just one pass? One pass, so we get used to. Okay, so that's our minor blues progression, but now I'm only gonna use the chord symbols. So we're gonna start with the 5th. And 3/2 clave is gonna be tricky because we're gonna emphasize the downbeat, but on the second beat, second measure. So every second measure, we're gonna try to emphasize the downbeat. And on the 2-bar group, on the first beat of the 2-bar group, we're gonna kind of emphasize an accent on the one end. So if we're working with a 2/3 clave, it would sound something like. Okay, that would be 2/3 clave. Now 3/2 clave. 1, 2, 3, and. So you can see that I'm emphasizing the downbeat on the second measure, 4th measure, 6th measure. We're gonna do that throughout the piece. So let's just work with the first 4 measures. And I'm gonna play the bass. Just to give us some reference. So, and let's see, we're gonna take this pattern, we're gonna continue with the 5. I'm gonna go sol, le, sol, le, sol, se, fa, mi, fa, fi, sol, le, sol. Then when we go to this measure, maybe we're gonna do an approach note. La, le, se, sol, fa. Then we're gonna go chromatically up and down. So, si, la, si, sol. Always using our movable dose system. So why don't we start? And let's build a 3/2 clave. Slowly. 1, 2, 3, and. See, I did. One end, 1. So 1 end. Downbeat. Okay, so let's practice together. Let's see. I'm gonna leave this video so you can use this video as a reference. So 3 to clave. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and down, and. Okay, so I'm gonna 3, 4, 1, and. So we're gonna accent the 1 and on the second measure we're gonna end on the downbeat. So why don't we start? 1, 2, 3, and 1. Okay, so here we go. 3, 4. And sorry, we're gonna start with the third of the chord. Okay, 3, 4, 1. Okay, and voice leading wise, we're just going from the 5 to the flat 6, 5, flat 5, and then we end up on the 4. Chromatic to the 3, 4, sharp 4, back to the 5. Flat 6 or sharp 5, 6. Then flat 6, flat 5, which is this would be the flat 7 of the A flat 7, and then G7. And to F, which would be the flat 7 of G, and then C minor 7. We're gonna do this chromatic line. And here we go. Together, 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, now we're gonna practice with percussion, and we're gonna practice it slowly. We're gonna do 135 beats per minute. Yeah, we're gonna play the whole progression twice. And here we go. Now we're gonna play again, but we're gonna take the speed up, 145 beats per minute. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're gonna take our 3/2 pattern to 155 beats per minute. And here we go. Okay, and now we're gonna take our pattern to 165 beats per minute. Yeah, so actually that's a great way of practicing. You know, we can start very, like almost like a son montuno tempo, 120, you know, slow son montuno tempo. Then we can go all the way up, maybe even push it to 200. Yeah, we're not gonna do 200 today, but at least 165. Okay, so that was a nice salsa workout. Yeah, and since we already are working with blues progressions, and also I want to say, you know, when we work with the montuno, I'm actually in this case choosing a very traditional montuno, you know, which would be single note, doubled, yeah, in octaves. Yeah, with the left hand, yeah, but there are so many things that we can do. We can actually even take, we could take a four-way close voicing, yeah, and then maybe we can do a different type of voicing here on the right hand, yeah. We can maybe, yeah. Okay. And we can work with all different type of voicings. Actually, if we work at that level, probably I should write everything down. Yeah, that's gonna be too, yeah, maybe too tricky to just pick it up. Yeah, so, and that's one of my homeworks, something that I need to do. Okay, so, but I wanna go to, let's continue with blues, yeah, with the blues progression, but now we're gonna use blues and solfege. Yes, blues and solfege. And what are we gonna do? Let me see. How about if let's, one moment. Blues and solfege. So what I wanna do, yes, let's start with this progression first. And let me, okay, I'm gonna need more piano. What I would like to do is I'm gonna play this chord progression, but we are gonna sing the bass. Yeah, we're gonna sing the bass just by itself, yeah, using solfege. So why don't we start? 1, 2, 3, and do, fa, do, sol, do, fa, fa, fi, do, mi, la, re, sol, do, la, re, sol, do. Okay, so that's the very first step. You know, we're just getting used to the bass motion. Next step is, how about if we sing the bass motion but we add chords? So then we have the chord sounding on the upper register, but we still have to focus on the bass motion. In the bass line, sometimes, you know, because of vocal register, I may sing it up an octave. You may too, just to adjust to your most comfortable singing range. 1, 2, 3. Do, fa, fa, do, sol, do, fa, fi, do, mi, la, re, sol, do, la, re, sol, do. Let's do it again. 3 and do, fa, do, sol, do, fa, fi, do, mi, la, re, sol, do, la, re, sol, do. Okay, now we're gonna take it to another level. Now, hopefully, we have internalized the bass motion. So we're gonna sing the bass motion, but we're gonna play the voicings, up in this register without playing the bass line. Yeah, and if you're a guitar player, you can just play whatever voicing that you're playing on the guitar, but sing the bass motion. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and do, fa, do, sol, do, fa, fi, do, mi, la, re, sol, do, la, re, sol, do. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, and do, fa, do, sol, do, fa, fi, do, mi, la, re, sol, do, la, re, sol, do. Okay, so we should practice like this. Next one, we're gonna practice ascending chord tones. Yeah, we're gonna arpeggiate all the chord tones of a basic bebop blues progression. And why don't we start? Yeah, slowly. So here we go. So at this tempo, do, mi, sol, te. Yeah, that would be fine. 3 and do, mi, sol, te. 4th degree. Fa, la, do, mi, do, mi, sol, te, 2, 5, or 4. Sol, te, re, fa, do, mi, sol, te, fa, la, do, mi. Sharp 4 diminished. Fi, la, do, mi, do, mi, sol, te, 2, 5 of 2. Mi, sol, te, re, la, di, mi, sol, re, fa, la, do. Sol, ti, re, fa, turn around. Do, mi, re, do, mi, sol, te, la, di, mi, sol, re, fa, la, do. Sol, ti, re, fa, do. There are a few things, a few parts that I want to review. I want to go to the top line. 4th measure, that's the 2, 5, or 4. 2, 5, or 4. And I want to practice that section by itself. And as you can see, I'm just shifting octaves just to make my singing more comfortable. Okay, here we go. Sol, te, re, fa, do, mi, sol, te, fa, la, do, mi. Let's do it again. Sol, te, re, fa, do, mi, sol, te, fa, la, do, mi. We're gonna continue to sharp 4 diminished. Fi, la, do, mi, do, mi, sol, te. Then we have a 2, 5 of 2. 2, 5 of the 2 minor 7. 2, 5 of the 2 minor 7. So why don't we sing? Mi, sol, te, re, la, di, mi, sol. For the secondary dominant, the 5, 7 of the 2, I'm choosing to have a dominant 7 with a flat 5. So I'm gonna call this a mi. La, di, mi, sol. See, that's why we do chromatic solfege just before the beginning of the class, so we kind of warm up to all the possibilities, yeah, in that we can have using movable do solfege. Why don't we start? Mi, sol, te, re, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do. Let's do it again. 3 and mi, sol, te, re, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do. Sol, ti, re, fa. And then we have our turnaround. We have the 1, 6, 2, 5. And we're gonna practice. Do, mi, sol, te, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do, sol, ti, re, fa, do. Let's practice again. Do, mi, sol, te, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do, sol, ti, re, fa, do. Okay, now let's do the whole thing, non-stop, non-stop, non-stop. How about a bit faster? Do, mi, sol. Okay, 3 and do, mi, sol, te, fa, la, do, me, do, mi, sol, te, sol, ti, re, fa, do, mi, sol, te, fa, la, do, me, fi, la, do, me, do, mi, sol, te, sol, te, re, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do, sol, ti, re, fa, do, mi, sol, te, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do, sol, ti, re, fa, do. This is a nice workout, yeah? Let's do it again. 3 and do, mi, sol, te, fa, la, do, me, do, mi, sol, te, sol, ti, re, fa, do, mi, sol, te, fa, la, do, me, fi, la, do, me, do, mi, sol, te, mi, sol, te, re, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do, sol, ti, re, fa, do, mi, sol, te, la, di, me, sol, re, fa, la, do, sol, ti, re, fa, do. In this practice, we should do in all 12 keys. Yeah. And actually, we can use the same kind of practice to work with the different jazz standard progressions. Yeah, we can do Autumn Leaves, Stella by Starlight, you name it. Yeah, we should actually explore all our chord progressions. Okay, good. So now it's time to say goodbye until next week. So thank you for being with me in this live broadcast. We covered a lot of material and we're going to continue to do so in our next class. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Until then, have a wonderful week, practice your instrument every day, and listen and play lots of good music. See you next week.
Thank you.